Hello, everybody. This is Stephen Whitfield, Drilling Contractor. We're here at Enhanced Drilling's offices in Houston, Texas, and with me right now is Michael Collins, Senior VP of Wells at Shell. Now, back in April, we visited Enhanced Drilling's Training and Technology Center to speak a little bit about their controlled mud level technologies, and Shell is using that technology in the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to speak to Michael a little bit about some of that, some other things deep water, see what his thoughts are. So Michael, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's start big picture here. Let's look at deep water in general. How do you see the deep water market evolving for Shell?
So I think deep water assets continue to play a key role as part of the Shell portfolio and part of our overall ambition to play a key role in the energy transition. The deep water assets provide a consistent level of performance and free cash flow, and an area where we have differentiated capability that we think can really support the portfolio. So there's going to be a real continued growth and investment in these areas, one that we support also with continued operations for decades to come.
So how do you see the MPD market evolving for Shell? What are some of the challenges you see there?
So I think within our deep water portfolio, we continue to see the evolution of how fields are being developed, both close to existing assets like we have in the Gulf of Mexico, but also in our emerging basins and emerging activities. And CML, as part of a group of technologies, of managed pressure technologies, truly helps us manage not only downside risks, but also helps us enable well designs and manage operations which we maybe couldn't have done before. So I think in our toolkit for deep water, the managed pressure systems, such as CML, are offering some differentiated capability that lets us support that deep water portfolio I was talking about.
So why is Shell using CML in the Gulf of Mexico today?
So as we look at the future of our field developments in the Gulf of Mexico, we continue to move deeper and we continue to move into new stratigraphy. And that means we're also drilling through existing areas, existing fields with already developed reservoirs. Those pressure differentials, those margins that we have to safely execute our work, require that real continued support in terms of technology. And that's really where CML offers us a little bit of an edge in terms of being able to work through those existing depleted reservoirs. We've found that by using CML in combination with all of our other industry capability, we're able to execute things we haven't been able to do before, or we've been able to control the risks in terms of reducing downside risk, and CML's got a bit of an edge there.
So MPD is seen more as a risk reduction technology. Would you say that CML is the same, or are there differences there?
So I think all the systems has advantages and disadvantages. Certainly, as we look at our experience with CML so far, it's able to do all of the elements of managed pressure and margin management that we know of these systems. But we continue to explore its application for our cementing operations and particularly for completion operations. And here, I think we're seeing CMLs adding some capability to our toolkit. We do see that we need to adjust our designs and adjust some of our thinking, but as we use it more, we're learning more, and it's starting to act as an enabler for our designs, not just a risk mitigation. So in some of the case studies that we've been working with so far, our ability to use CML during the completion phase has meant that we're able to reduce the sort of loads and the sort of pressures we apply on the reservoir during completion operations, gravel packs and other displacements. So we do see that value in terms of production enhancement, or at least making sure that we're minimizing impairment. We're already seeing some early benefits. We're going to have to explore it more, but there is a link here to the production quality at the well bore and being able to support inflow characteristics in the well for the life of the well.
What are some of the most promising developments that we've seen with utilizing the CML technology? What have you seen out there?
So I think being part of the CML evolution has let us see the early systems, which really were pump systems managing the drilling fluid level in the riser, and seeing that evolution not just of the control systems, which provide very, very fine control, the integration with other service providers. That's been a step that's let us sort of really think about the end-to-end well delivery plan, and now an evolution into a CML plus that integrates, a closure device that introduces the ability to circulate and manage influxes into the wellbore. So the evolution to CML plus, I think that's really exciting to see as we continue to advance how we use it, and as I said, extend it from just risk mitigation to an enabler.
And lastly, we're talking about the Gulf of Mexico, but are there any other deep water basins where you'd like to sort of utilize this CML technology? Is there any, I guess, sort of looking ahead here? What do you see for this?
Well, I think it goes back to some of the reflections on the evolution of our portfolios. As we explore its capability, as we integrate it into our well designs, we are seeing it move from just that sort of mitigation for low margins, the option to include it in the way that we construct wells, where we set casings, maybe even leaving casings out. So we see opportunities to deploy it in activities in reservoirs and basins we see in Brazil and in West Africa. And we'll continue to explore how it can be used not just for existing brownfield areas, but how it could support greenfield developments and exploration activities.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for letting us in a little bit about how Shell's utilizing CML technology in the Gulf and possibly beyond. It'll be interesting to see how this sort of develops, how you guys develop in using it. So thanks for talking to us.
No, thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for visiting Drilling Contractor.